He never expected that a simple night out could spiral into a whirlwind of chaos, heartbreak, and revelation, yet here he was, standing in the middle of a restaurant that was more battlefield than sanctuary. "Hey, sir, that's my dress," she shouted, her voice sharp with urgency and panic, echoing against the polished walls. The room seemed to shrink around them, every movement magnified, every glance loaded with tension. He barely flinched, casually reaching for the garment, a small smirk tugging at the corner of his lips. "Taken by yourself a new one?" he asked, almost teasingly, yet the words carried the weight of dominance, the kind of authority that could silence a room or crush a spirit. She felt the heat of panic rise in her chest. Her protests were frantic. "Excuse me, sir, but this is too much. Please, help me get out of here." The desperation in her voice mingled with anger, her hands trembling as the situation escalated, but he didn't hear her. He was too immersed in his own sense of entitlement, his claim over the space, over everything it represented. "Because this is my place," he declared, his voice low and unwavering. "My restaurant. Everything here belongs to me. Don't you understand?" Every syllable struck like thunder, leaving her stunned, a sharp reminder that the world could shift beneath her feet in a single moment, leaving chaos in its wake. Time felt like it slowed, stretching seconds into eternities, as she realized her vulnerability. She didn't have much time, the doctors had warned her, and yet here she was, forced to navigate a storm she hadn't anticipated. The weight of mortality pressed on her shoulders, the mundane world, the laughter of other diners, the clink of glasses. The music that seemed almost cruel in its cheerfulness felt impossibly distant. She thought about all the things she hadn't done, the moments that might slip away uncherished, the life that seemed to exist just out of reach. Every heartbeat became a reminder of her fleeting existence, every breath a precious commodity. And yet, even in that moment of fear, there was resilience. She refused to be broken entirely, refused to be silenced by the threat looming over her. And then, as if fate itself had decided to intervene, the chaos shifted. A new presence entered, bringing with it an unexpected sense of gravity and possibility. "Your dinner didn't have time to eat it?" the voice asked, cutting through the tension, filled with a strange mix of concern and irritation. She shook her head, stubbornly refusing. I don't want this. Get out of here now." But he lingered, a mixture of defiance and care etched into his every movement. Music played softly in the background, a cinematic underscore to the unfolding drama, elevating even the smallest gesture into a moment of profound significance. Her eyes searched his face, looking for intentions, for sincerity, for some sign that she was not entirely alone in this unpredictable world. And perhaps for the first time, he felt something shift within himself. For someone accustomed to control, to commanding attention, to bending situations to his will, her indifference was revolutionary. She didn't respond to his wealth, his influence, his authority. She looked past it all, straight into him, and that gaze unsettled him in ways he hadn't anticipated. It was humbling, disarming, and intoxicating all at once. In a world that constantly demanded compliance, she demanded nothing but authenticity, and the realization of her humanity struck him with the force of a revelation. He began to see the world differently, through a lens of possibility and vulnerability, where wealth and power could no longer shield him from the truths of connection and emotion. The next hours unfolded like a fevered dream, a montage of fleeting glances, hurried apologies, and tender confrontations. She had requests small, human, beautiful, and he responded, realizing that the greatest gifts one could offer were not material but emotional, tangible only in devotion, presence, and care. "First," she whispered, almost shyly, "I need a dress." Her tone carried hope, anticipation, and the innocence of someone who had learned to cherish small joys despite looming despair. And then, with a playful sparkle in her eyes, "Second, I want to have dinner with some handsome guy." The humor, audacity, and vulnerability of her requests were disarming, and he found himself caught between the worlds of duty and desire, power and tenderness, reality and the extraordinary. The mundane world outside the clatter of dishes, the hum of conversations, the indifferent passage of time faded into insignificance. Every gesture, every word, every stolen moment became monumental, sacred, almost fragile in its significance. Fine dining turned into a theater of human emotion, where every laugh, every sigh, every glance spoke volumes. He learned to listen, to observe, to respond, not as a man of power, but as a human capable of empathy and connection. He discovered that the richest experiences could not be bought, that the truest joy existed in shared moments, fleeting yet eternal in their emotional resonance. Yet time was relentless, a silent adversary pressing down on them. The doctor's warning echoed in every heartbeat. 3 days. Only 3 days to savor, to live fully, to reconcile and love without restraint? Panic threatened to engulf him, but he refused to succumb. He made promises, bold and desperate, to defy fate if only for the chance to grant her time, however fleeting. Experimental treatments in distant cities, bureaucratic hurdles, parental consent, they were obstacles. But none could eclipse the force of his determination. Money, power, influence, it seemed meaningless in the face of mortality and the intensity of their shared existence. Days became a cascade of experiences. Laughter under the dim glow of restaurant lights, stolen moments in quiet corners, whispered confessions, tender touches, and urgent embraces. Every meal became a celebration of life itself. Every shared smile a testament to resilience and courage. Music played as their lives intertwined, each note heightening emotion, creating a cinematic rhythm that made ordinary moments feel extraordinary. They explored joys that had once seemed trivial, finding meaning in deserts shared, in fleeting conversations, in the warmth of human presence. She revealed her wishes, delicate yet profound, and he fulfilled them, realizing that the greatest wealth he could give was not currency, but attention, empathy, and the courage to exist fully in the moment. Confronting the looming inevitability of loss only deepened the intensity of their connection. They were aware of the ticking clock, yet they refused to surrender to despair. Every glance, every word, every heartbeat became a defiance, a refusal to let mortality dictate the terms of their existence. Even amidst uncertainty, even under the oppressive weight of fear, they discovered joy, laughter, and the quiet certainty that life's value is measured not in duration, but in depth, in shared humanity, in the courage to love fiercely, unreservedly. In these precious hours, they discovered a truth that transcended the ordinary. Happiness and fulfillment could not be purchased, commanded, or coerced. They existed only in connection, in shared vulnerability, in the acknowledgement of fragility and strength alike. And as the final moments approached, they savored each heartbeat, each breath, each glance, understanding that the intensity of presence outweighed all other measures of worth. Memory became immortal, experience eternal, and love the pure. Unrestrained kind was the ultimate currency, defying the limitations of time and mortality. As the sun set on their last day together, a profound stillness descended. The world outside remained indifferent, yet within their bubble, time itself seemed to honor the weight of human connection. They had navigated fear, chaos, and desperation, yet emerged with something invaluable, a shared understanding of life's fleeting beauty, a recognition that true richness is measured not in possessions, but in moments, and that love, fleeting or enduring, is worth every risk, every struggle, every sacrifice. Even as the final hours approached, the intensity of their bond illuminated everything. A blazing reminder that life's most precious treasures cannot be acquired, only experienced. And in that experience, they found a kind of eternity. In the end, it was not wealth, power, or influence that mattered. It was her smile, her laughter, her courage. It was the stolen glances, the tender touches, the moments of raw humanity that left them both changed forever. They had danced with mortality, wrestled with fate, and discovered that life's meaning resides in connection, presence, and the fearless embrace of love. As the credits of those 3 days rolled in their minds, they knew that time, however short, had been theirs, and that the memories forged in that crucible of urgency and emotion would shine forever. A testament to the enduring power of human connection, defiance, and the courage to love even when the world demands otherwise.